Welcome, dear viewers, to a new episode of Dialogue Horizon. In this episode also we'll continue covering the event of the arrival of the leaders of the participants of the Juba agreement, peace agreement. I'm very glad and happy to have in this episode one of our distinguished professors who is in Ireland, Republic of Ireland, University of Maynooth. He's Professor Abdullah Osman At-Tom, Professor of Anthropology, and at the same time he is the Secretary of External Relations of the GEM, Justice and Equality Movement. We are happy to have him with us in this episode because he's just come from Ireland. And also we are glad to have with us our friend, Doctor, he's the Doctor, ENT Doctor Tahir Al-Faqih, is known to the viewers for the last 2-3 episodes. And he's also the head of the delegation of the advanced delegation of the Revolutionary Front, and at the same time the chairman of the Legislative Council of Legislative Assembly of the GEM, Justice and Equality. Okay, let's start. We'll start by Dr. Tahir Al-Faqih. Tahir Al-Faqih, of course you have noticed, you have seen the celebration at the Khartoum here when the leaders came, they arrived, and the rally was almost as big as the others, or maybe it's the second biggest to the rallies held in that area, of the green area of Khartoum. Whereas you have the impression, last episode, you have the impression that the people, they are not doing enough to celebrate this. But this now, I think you must have changed your mind. Can you tell us about your feeling and your impression about the event of last Monday, Sunday, 15th of November?
Thank you very much for inviting me once again to this extensive and popular program of Dialogue Horizon. And I feel so happy that my predictions were not true, because I thought the celebration and the rally would not be as much as I would like it to be, because there has been so many impediments, so many obstacles made to make it fail. But it is the people, it is the will of the people that have changed everything. People rallied from everywhere. People came from Western Darfur, from Sinnar, from every part of the country. They came rallying after looking for peace. Those people who try to obstruct it and try to put some obstacles on it, unfortunately for them, that did not happen. And as I last time said, that even the money that the financing of the event, which was supposed to be prepared well in advance, that the finance minister did not do her job well, and the money was not at hand or in hand. But the people, the will of the people have done the best. People came from everywhere. It was an event that is only second to Jongarang arrival in Khartoum, and we have made an estimation. It is so extensive, so well done by the people. The organization was by the people. It is not by those who are supposed to organize it. It's the people who rallied and came from everywhere. So well done to the people. They have shown it is the national census, that this census is the will of the people for peace, and it is support for the peace, and that puts a great effort on us to heed the the peace process. And as you can see, it's millions of people. It's everywhere. They're so difficult for people to move, even though people said there is the problem of corona, but people thought it is peace that they are coming for.
No, that's very good. Yes, it seems that from what we have seen in the pictures, that the rallies are definitely something big. Professor Abdullah Osman Tom, have you been to the event?
Yes.
Okay,
indeed,
can you tell us
was-
about your impression?
Indeed, I was there, but I would like first to thank you for inviting me to your program, and I would like to take this opportunity also to greet your viewers. Yes, indeed, I wasn't really expecting to see that many people there, but I was thrilled actually to experience such a successful gathering. And I think what is important about the gathering is that it is really it's a plebiscite. It is an endorsement of the peace process. That is what actually brought that huge number to Khartoum. We must note that I perhaps cannot speak on behalf of the other organizations, but I can speak on behalf of GEM. We know that GEM has no money, and it was not able at the time to finance bringing people from all over the place. So all the people who came supporting GEM from Darfur, from the east, even from the north, they came at their own expense. What is important about the number is also it's that this is a general endorsement of the peace process, but it also means that we are really convinced that the time of war has gone. I think that is something very important, and we have to celebrate that when we look at the gathering which came there. So I am delighted about the number which made it to the rally, and I am happy that yes, I was also mistaken. I really did not expect that many people to be
there. But
Yes.
this big number of people
Yes,
who came on their air or on without
Yes,
any
yes.
help from other any
Yes,
support.
yes.
This should be very encouraging to the leaders who came, so that they should come on a different picture. That this means that these people who came, regardless of the danger or the risk of the epidemic,
Yes,
the
yes.
pandemic, the corona, regardless of not being paid for coming, or no preparation for food, for water, something like this, yet they came in big numbers. So this should be something.
Yes, it is
Positive.
very encouraging, positive and very encouraging for the leaders of these organizations or participants of the peace agreement, including, of course, also the other side, the government side. So to give them actually, it gives them more confidence in themselves that they should march on and do their best. But at the same time, also, of course, it reminds them that this is a serious matter. All those people came there because they wanted the peace also to be implemented to the
They want
letter.
to see it implemented.
So the stake has been made very high by the large presence of people there.
So this is yes, I agree with you. It is in a way,
Yes.
it is something binding for the leaders and from both sides, to the government and the others, that these people, they want peace. So now it is their role, the leaders and the government, to put the
Yes.
agreement on effect
Yes.
and on the ground. Okay.
Yes, if you allow me to add a little more,
Sure.
see, we shouldn't, we in the movements take all the credit for it. If we go back to the revolution, it started with the famous slogan, freedom,
Peace,
peace, and justice.
and justice.
Despite the limitation of the current government, it has bridged the first step, and that is the step of the freedom.
Peace.
Now, of course, in terms of freedom, we have made tremendous advancement, and we're waiting to complete that when the Legislative Council is composed. The second word in the slogan, of course, is peace, and here it is
Now peace
in front
is-
of us.
is
Yes,
already-
yes, and we hope that, of course, in the coming few days, we lay down the what they call the base for sorting out the third word, which is justice.
Justice.
And I'm delighted to say that, yes, justice is, of course, part of our name. We take it bloody seriously, and that is something which will do every possible thing in order to make it a success.
Which is part of your, yes, equality and justice is very important. Okay, Dr. Tahir Al-Faki, having commended, both of you have commended the rallies they came and they attended this celebration of the leaders. About the local administration, the historic administration, which covered the Sudan for quite a long time, even before independence. Maybe the colonization, the British, they were completely dependent on this local administration. They gave them full support, and they help. Actually, those leaders, they help them. Can this still work in Darfur, having in mind the diversity of the tribal diversity? Will it all to work still? You believe that it will work? Or we should think of something new?
You see, if we look at the historical background about the local administration, when the colonials left Sudan, they set a base for how to administer the localities, and it used to work very well. It used to sort out local problems, and also those local administrators have the authority, and people respect them. That managed to settle so many issues that happened around in those areas. But when Jafar Nimeri came and Jafar Bakhit made a change, they diminished the local administration's authority, and that started to cause some problems. So some bandits and some criminals started to work outside the authority of the local administration. But I think, and that's my personal view, is that the local administration used to work very well, and if that is now being organized well and being financed, then they will do a lot of work that will lead to peace and to stability in the areas. So many areas if you now go to Darfur, you see so many areas the government is not at all there, but it is only the local administrations that's been working in that area. So with some sort of organization, some sort of financial support, we can promote and give them new dimensions to work, and hopefully that will help rather than impede the administration of the areas. So it is. I don't think it is something bad. It is something positive to help the local administration.
So you believe that the tribal diversity will not impede the process of giving more power to the local administration, because when you talk about local administrations, then you are coming indirectly or impliedly to the tribalism in a way, in such a way, because you have to have the leaders of the tribes. Those to authorize them. Do you think that this will impede the process, or will encourage it? They can overcome this by what?
I don't think people work among themselves. The local administrations from each area, they work together. And imagine someone has stolen a camel, and this camel has gone from one tribe to another. The local administrators of those areas will work with the area where the camel had been stolen. So it is not just tribalism. It is people who work together to make a model and a molecule for peace, settlement, and living together in harmony, and that will help. So if you look at Darfur specifically and Kordofan, the Judea, and the Judea is a sort of tribal or local authority functions that will reconciliate and bring the sides that are antagonizing to come to a solution. And the Judea is not only from one tribe. It can accommodate all the others, and they help in sorting these problems out.
Professor, do you agree
Yes.
with him? Because I asked him because he mentioned something that Ja'far Bakhit and Ja'far Nimr, at that time the government was leftist. So it seems that there is ideology against these local administrators. So do you agree with him?
Yes, I do agree with him. You see, the main problem is when you politicize these offices. And Ja'far Bakhit did that precisely because also the local administrators were not in tune with the ideology of the government of the time, and therefore created parallel structures like village committees and socialist union units and so forth. And then later on, of course, also the politicization of the local administration appeared again, of course, during the defunct government of al-Bashir, where the leaders have been replaced by some people whom they could guarantee or could control. I am not bothered very much about that tribal things, because there is no unit like Shartawi, as we called, or Umudia, which is entirely occupied by one tribe. And this has always been the history of Darfur and the history of other parts of the Sudan. And those people have been able to survive together. So we should not equate just local administration with tribalism. That's an entirely different thing. And normally the courts of the Shortai or the Omda consist of a number of people from the other ethnic groups who are resident in the area. They are not entirely coming out of the main ethnic group of which from where the leader comes. So I do not think there is a problem. So, we have to remember that if we look at the structure of the government, you have the central government, you have the regional government, you have the what do you call it, the state government. But at the very lower level, those are the people who really know their own people, and those are the people who can articulate the wishes also and the interests of us for other people who are might be coming as government officials from different areas. So I think we should rehabilitate the local administration, and we make it through representation of their own people. Until now, of course, it's not. There is a problem there. The problem there is created by the Osid regime. Because the Osid regime did not pay attention. Actually, they deliberately did that. They tried to make tribalism as a factor for selection and for leadership. That's why it did not work. But both of you agree that this, in Darfur at least, we are talking about Darfur. Because Darfur is one of the diversified regions of Sudan, almost in everything. Darfur is something unique, diversified in people, tribes, in resources, everything. This is a very the richest region in the country. So that is very good. Okay, if we go to something also related to this, this is for both of you. This question about the arrival of the United Nations mission on the January of 2021. On response to the request of Dr. Abdullah Hamdouk under Chapter 6, not Chapter 6, to give assistance to help in or to address certain issues like human rights, internally displaced people, rehabilitation and repatriation, and constitution, permanent constitution, and completion of the peace process. About four of these issues. Are you optimistic that this will find some support from the new government? Actually, this was requested. By the way, we are talking about a request happened, which was by Prime Minister Hamdouk.
till now, till this moment, we don't know whether Hamdok will continue or whether the whole setup will be changed, or we don't know. But definitely, when these people, when they come after 2 months from now, they will definitely find a different, totally different situation. Do you think that they will find support and help from the new traditional governance?
Yeah, let us look at the historical background of UNAMID and UNAMITS. UNAMID has came to Darfur as a result of the atrocities and the problems in Darfur. And it came under Article 7. And even though Bashir at the beginning refused for UNAMID to come, but at the end they came and stabilized some sort of it. But unfortunately, the mandate that was given to UNAMID was not enough to sort out so many of the problems. Now, when the revolution took place and Bashir has gone, Hamdok made a request, and this request he was asking the United Nations to come and help in the management of some issues that is outstanding in the Sudanese problem. Mostly is the administrative side and mostly in the security side. But it is not in Article 7. It is Article 6. But Article 6 can also be extended to Article 7. However, the situation in Sudan economically and security-wise, it is very volatile and fragile. So the Sudan needs some help. The United Nations people, those who are antagonistic to what Hamdok is saying, they think that the United Nations is coming to occupy Sudan. That's not right. We in the Justice and Equality Movement, we are supporting UNAMITS, and because it will help, it will provide some sort of support, some sort of help to administer and to help Sudan to come out of its economic and security misery. So for people just to say that this new team is coming to occupy and to do what like Bremer did in Iraq, it's not right. It is going to be under the authority of the government of Sudan. There is something also I have to point out: the administration, that they are now thinking of having a civilian leading the UNAMITS, and that civilian would be like equating Bremer, but not with the mandate he had of fragmenting the country. So a Sudanese will lead the UNAMITS in support and working with the Sudanese government. So people should not be afraid that this United Nations force will come and occupy the country. It is not. There are so many writers writing and frightening people that Sudan is going to be different, is going to be under the authority of the United Nations. It's not.
Protectorate. Professor Abdullah Tom, on the same issue. On the same issue, we want to ask also about maybe when Dr. Hamdok sent his letter for the United Nations to the Secretary General, that one of the partners, the other partner, was not very encouraging or not happy. Let us be frank, it was not very happy about this. That's why people started writing adverse reports about these people. Before they come, they wrote quite, I don't think, unfair, I say, it's unfair analysis against what Hamdok did. So can you elaborate on this?
Well, I'm always bewildered about the fear of United Nations. I mean, while we should all be very supportive of the United Nations, I mean, they're not coming to occupy the Sudan. Rather, they're coming here to assist us in crossing through some sort of difficult hurdles ahead of us. And this is a time in which really we need some sort of technical assistance. And of course, we know that the United Nations has the vast experience, because it has gone through similar problems and similar political changes in so many countries.
Yeah.
And there is no reason why we should not really avail of that. We are part of the United Nations. So why do we feel antagonistic against it? And what is it when it comes to human rights that we fear United Nations? Unless, of course, the people who are against the United Nations have some other hidden agendas which they think that the United Nations is going to be a problem. So, insofar as I'm concerned, I welcome the...
Welcome them.
Yes, I welcome them and let them come and we work together. And we are not afraid of occupation. Nobody is going to occupy us. Nobody has even the capabilities of occupying us when we talk about the United Nations as such. So I am supportive.
You are supportive, and also not. We
Yes.
don't have to forget. We don't have to forget that these people, when they come and conduct these issues, the four issues, peace and rehabilitation, they have the ability and the know-how to
Yes.
get the support, financial support.
Yes.
When Sudan asks United Nations or ask an NGO to pay something, it won't be
Yes.
similar
Yes.
to when these people,
Yes.
as neutral, they are so this
Yes,
is
you
another
are right,
important
yes.
factor, that these people they will encourage the NGOs and the institutions, financial institutions, because the cost of peace is very high.
Yes, yes, you are absolutely right that when it comes to donors,
Yes.
the position of the United Nations, of course, is paramount, and it will help us to be able to generate some sort of external aid so that we'll be able to finance the implementation of the peace process. You are absolutely right in that.
So that's very good. I think both of you, we have to correct this to at least to some of the viewers, that the arrival of these people, this mission of the United Nations, will definitely be helpful to the country. They are not coming to occupy the country. They are not coming to put Sudan as a protectorate to the United Nations. It is entirely different, because some malicious aims. A writer, they wrote something bad about this mission. This mission, when they come and they are on the ground, and when they write a report, definitely it will be conclusive and it will be respected by different. So we all agree that the arrival of this after 2 months of this mission of the United Nations, and as Professor Abdullah said, we are already part. We are members.
Yes.
So we have to benefit from our membership, at least in a way or another. We have to benefit. That is good. I am happy that we answered this question of this UNAMID. Okay, let us go, Dr. Tahir, to some people are a little bit skeptical or afraid of that day. Now people, when they came to see, when they sat on Juba, the issue was one unit, peace. When peace is already ratified and the agreement set, and when it comes to the implementation, do you think that the leaders will have the same language, will talk the same language? Do you anticipate or expect any differences down the road when we come to the implementation?
Yeah, for the viewer to understand the situation is that the SRF, the Sudanese Revolutionary Front, is an alliance, and as an alliance, people come to agree on certain issue. When the SRF went to the negotiations, it went on certain basics, and those certain basics have resulted in the agreement of those 8 protocols, and those 8 protocols have been accepted by every part of the SRF, even though at the end Minni Minawi went his way, but he's still heeding the basics of the peace agreement. So I'm not skeptical that there will be some schism or some problem regarding the implementation of the agreement. But there will be some sort of minor issues. But the agreement itself is so concrete that addressed most of the issues and how to deal with it. Let me give you an example. In the security arrangement, the agreement has been on 12,000 personnel, and those 12,000 personnel would look at the security problem that may happen while implementing the agreement. The the distribution of the forces, the 12,000, is not supposed to be is not to be a mixture of one molecule that will lead to separation of the others. It is a group that can be made of the 3, it can be made of 2, it can be 1, wherever it is possible. But all of them will be working within one team. So I don't think it will be a difficult issue. The justice, as far as I am concerned, as for the justice and equality movement, we are fully committed to heeding and to fulfillment of the agreement as much as we can, and we want it to succeed. Because if it fails, means we are failing our people. We want it to succeed. That's why, if there are some sort of compromises, we are ready to do it for the sake of peace. So people who just say that because those groups will suddenly fragment and become antagonistic, I don't think it is going to happen.
So does this, you agree with him?
I agree with him, but I would like just to add one thing, that we have already proved that we can work together with our partners here. We went through the peace negotiations quite successfully, and we came out with this. And throughout it, of course, there were some disagreements here and there, but we were able to iron these agreements and move together. The same thing will also happen here. It would be unwise to say that there will not be some problems, but what we can say is that we have the abilities to overcome these problems in the same way as we were able to overcome them prior to that. We are talking about democratic system, multi-party system, which presupposes that, of course, there would be divergence in some sort of views. So we shouldn't really be afraid of people airing out different views within the same camp or otherwise. The worry should be, of course, if that is going to lead to the disintegration of the entire process, which is unlikely to happen. So I don't really.
So you believe that the 8 protocols or the agreement itself was well written, so that there is no ambiguity or that which allow for differences. If it is well written, if it is said, the matrices, the modalities, everything was well written. There is no room for personal interest in this case. So you still believe that the agreement is tight?
I think the agreement is tight enough to enable us to proceed without that problem. But there will be, of course, divergence of views here and there. That is not a problem. That is the nature of things.
Which could happen, some interpretation or. Okay, what about the transitional justice? What is transitional justice? How can it apply? Did this transitional period, since it started almost now 24 months, is there any transitional justice done?
Well, I think this is a long process. The transitional justice is not something which will happen just all of a sudden and disappear. This is a very long process, and we will continue in it. But the basic principles have already been laid down there, that wherever there are some sort of grievances, these grievances will be explored, and if there are some legal consequences, whatever it is, that will be applied. The principles of what they call it, compensation, is already the return of people to their own areas. These are all spelled very clearly. So I do not really see that much problem out there. There is, of course, the issue of the ICC, and that has already been, of course, clarified even before the peace agreement. The government has already signaled its commitment to cooperate with the ICC. Yes.
So transitional justice is not a big issue. But exactly, maybe the viewers, I myself, I'm not very sure about what do you mean, the politician, not the legal context of the, what is transitional justice? Is it the trial, for example, of Bashir and his crew and the people, is it part of the transitional justice, or transitional justice when it comes to Darfur that people, they have been compensated, repatriated, they have been, can you tell us, Dr. Tahir?
Yeah, it's, if we look at it, we should not look at just it is the ICC also. We have to look at it from the basics, from the base. From the base, there are some atrocities that have been committed between the tribes, between the families, between the local communities. Those can be sorted out simply by, as I earlier said, by the Judea, and some sort of local means of sorting those issues out. As it goes up and up and up, it comes to the highest situation where the transitional justice will involve the international criminal court. And even the international criminal court does not say that we are going to take those people and hand them handcuffed into Lahai, and they will be tried there. If there is a local means of sorting these issues out with the system in Sudan, and it can be done, there is the financial support, there is the technical support, all of those that is available, then the ICC is saying that it is better to do it locally. But when the country fails or fails short of committing itself to a fair trial, then it will go to the International Criminal Court. But at the end, what the people on the street and people in the camps, the IDP camps or the other areas, what they want is to see justice being done. How that justice is being done is supposed to be left to the technicalities and to the availability of the resources. So, as I said, it starts from the basis and then gradually goes. There are some people who have committed crimes, but it does not amount to war crimes. It does not amount to genocide. Those can be sorted out by Judea and then gradually by local administrations, as I said, and gradually to the local courts, and then to the regional courts. Gradually, that can help a lot, and it will also make the country look more financially supported by others to help in sorting it out locally, more than just leaving it to come out of hand and become under the international community.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so this is a good answer. Okay, we go another issue, Professor Abdullah Osman al-Dom, about what is the effect, of course, negative effect on the Abdul Wahid not joining hands with the effect on the security, economy, and development of Darfur. Will be if he insists on not joining the peace process, will there be any detrimental effect in the whole process?
Well, there will be, of course, some problems if he doesn't join, and the economy and also, of course, security. These are intricately connected, and we do hope that. He will join the peace process. But what is important is that if he doesn't join, the current peace process is not going to collapse. Yes, it will be, of course, incomplete. That would be unfortunate. But I think Abdul Wahid has already seen the support which was clearly evident in the last rally, and I hope that he will make some effort to come and join us. But yes, without Abdul Wahid, our peace is somewhat incomplete.
Incomplete.
Yes, there's no doubt about that.
But there are some rumors, maybe some speculation, rumors that he will. Some people they saw, but still now nobody can ascertain this or say yes,
Yes,
but
yes. Well, I think he will come, because otherwise he will be the major loser if he doesn't come, because that will eat into his support into the area.
Yeah,
When the peace has come down to on the ground in Darfur, with the exception of the areas where his supporters come from, then of course they will feel a bit left behind, and that will intensify the pressure against him. But we do have to admit that yes,
his absence
his absence is not. Yes.
in a way it is
Yes.
affecting in
Yes,
a way,
yes.
but it is definitely it will not
It will not. It will not. It will not derail
hamper the whole
no,
thing.
No,
It will not
it will
disturb.
certainly not. But,
Because people, the majority are supporting this agreement, because the regime is different
Yes,
now.
yes.
You are under totally different regime. This is a freedom regime, democratic regime. So no
there
way.
is very little reason for him not to join, because
join.
Abdul Wahid has no enemy in Sudan here anymore. We are not his enemies. The government is not his enemy. The army is not his enemy. And so the dynamics have changed and have become positive. And I hope that he would be able to see this opportunity and join us.
Good. Okay, Dr. Tahir, as in the agreement, 39 months, do you think these 39 months will address all the problems of Darfur, or it will make a big change on this 39 months? I mean, regarding the infrastructure rehabilitation, regarding the repatriation, regarding the resettlement of the IDPs, regarding, will this 39 months be enough, and will there be enough money to achieve this? The money is important. Without money they cannot. What is your anticipation of this 39 months?
Yeah, may I just, before I go into this question, is to add few points to Abdul Wahid's presence and to contribution in peace. The rallies, the celebration that happened on the 15th of November has become a national consensus. It is the people came out in masses shouting for peace. And if Abdul Wahid wants to work against those people, then these are the grassroots, and these are the people whom he wants to support. And the people came out and said, we want peace. So he has to think and to look at what happened and should not take it as a failure from his side. He should look at the positive side. He had been calling for power, wealth share, for removal of those newcomers, for land compensation and hawakir, and for security arrangement. All those issues have been addressed in the peace agreement. If he has something new, people will be happy to include it. So I think Abdul Wahid at the end, I agree with Professor Abdullah that at the end he will come and join, because it is in his own interest. As far as the 39 months for the transitional government, I think the building of a nation takes a long time, but you have to start at somewhere. And if this start somewhere is being seen to be successful, then gradually. We have problems. We have the queues for fuel, we have queues for bread, and we have queues for transport. So these are the main issues that is being brought to me and to everybody, that the people want to see that change. And we feel ashamed that we should not have this in our country. We should not have this at all. But it is a problem of administration. It is not a problem of failure of resources. Sudan is a rich country. We have minerals. We have everything available, but it is a problem of administration and also the inherited corruption. The people themselves also are using corruption as means of supporting their families and means of living, which is not right. If people have the national incentives of working for a country that is going to prosper, so it will be difficult. I think if those who have listened and heard what Dr. Jibril said in his address to the nation, GEM has an issue and has a program, and this program will work with the others. We are not going to say we have Moses stick to change everything, or we have the open finance to sort this out. We start from zero, or we start from where the country is and work with the others. We will work with the transitional government and absorb and work together. So we look at what the positive means of sorting this means out. And people should not think or should not say that this is going to happen tomorrow. It takes a while, and hopefully it's not going to take 39 months. But in between, it will be a process, and this process hopefully will get rid of those queues, and then people will start to work on the other issues that is pertinent to a future of the Sudanese people.
Okay, I think we have a few minutes still. We have very few minutes to go. But Professor, I want to ask you, some people, some critics, some people, they talk about the agreement itself, especially for Darfur. Some people they say that it is a little biased or prejudiced Darfur, and giving more weight, more advantage, more benefits to Darfur. What can you answer to these people?
I don't really think that Darfur has really gotten more than what it deserves, because first, I mean, it was based on the population of Darfur, plus in few areas they have added these preferential treatment because of the problems that Darfur has gone through. Remember that few weeks ago, our current government decided to pay the compensation for the victims of the terrorist act of the defunct government, the American citizens.
Yeah.
So if and of course that was very nicely received in the Sudan. So if the Sudanese are very happy with our own government compensating the Americans for their own grievances or being killed or being terrorized, why would we complain when our government tries to compensate their own Sudanese, which had tortured and killed and raped and did everything? So I think people have to wake up and
we have to wake up,
yes, and put things in perspective without what do you call it, just making complaints out of nothing. And this agreement has been done with people from different sides discussing it together, and it's not really a product of just Juba agreement. Most of these issues which have been endorsed in Juba agreement, the previous government itself had agreed to them in some other venues, whether that was in Juba or in Doha, but it did not implement them. So I do not really see any problem there at all.
Actually, because Darfur is the only part of the country in instability for more than 15, 16 years.
Yes, yes.
People were deprived, children were not go to school, infrastructure destroyed, dwellings, people where they use, almost the only region, that is why even if there is some bias, or it's only fair, until it comes to the level of the others.
Yes, and I also have to remember that, you see, what I entirely agree with you, but this is very important also for the reconciliation, for the future of Sudan. We want to create a country in which people from different parts of it feel that they are equal in their countries. We want to bury over all the grievances and things like that. And these, whatever the gains of Darfur in this peace process, I think is part of that healing of the entire Sudan, not only Darfur.
Okay, that's good. Okay, we have only 1 minute or 2 minutes, Professor Dr. Tahir.
Yeah, just to add to what Abdullah,
You can add, yes, you can add.
to add to what Abdullah has said, that there are some voices around the country and some writers, and I can say there is one specific writer like Ishaq Ahmad Fadlallah. He is the one who is trying to incite some sort of racial discrimination, and saying that those movements have now come to occupy Khartoum and to bring some social of racial discrimination. We are coming, the people, whether coming from Darfur or Kordofan, they have been suppressed, they have been subjected to horrendous atrocities all through. And it is not only said by the people from Darfur and Kordofan, it is internationally recognized. And Bashir himself has been indicted, and his other entourage have been indicted with war crimes and genocide. Yes. So those people, in Darfur, there are more than 300,000 internally refugees in Chad, and there is about 3.5 million internally displaced. If you go all around the country, you can see Darfurians everywhere. These have been displaced from their land, and to have those people come back and to become productive, you have to give them incentives. It is not taken from the quota of the Sudanese people. It is to be an asset. When these people are given some sort of support, it will be an asset to the whole Sudan, because they will be productive. Yeah, they will add to the GDP. Yes, to the GDP. So it is only those who are antagonizing the peace, they try to scare people and put some racial discrimination into it.
That is very good. That's very good and conclusive, and I'm very happy to have both of you, especially Professor Abdullah Osman At-Tom, but definitely we'll ask you to come again, because still we have a lot of issues down the road. We don't know. Every day there's a change. Thank you, Professor Abdullah Osman At-Tom, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
University of Republic of Ireland, and our friend Dr. Tahir Al-Faqih for this 1 hour discussion about the issue of peace and the effects of the celebrations and the coming few days that will come out of this. Definitely we'll meet again. Thank you, dear viewers, for being with us in the last 1 hour. We hope to see you next week on the same issue. We'll continue on this peace process until we see the peace process and the peace agreement is implemented in the ground. Thank you, and see you next week. Bye. Bye.